When God has chosen people to belong to Him, He has usually made a special agreement with them. This agreement ties or binds those people to God. Since the agreement is so strong, it is called a covenant. Covenants are like contracts. They help people to know where they stand with each other. For example, when a man and woman marry, they enter a marriage covenant. They know they belong to each other. They should feel sure about their relationship. They know what each should give and receive. They go forward in life with more certainty about the right direction. One of the most famous covenants God made was with Abraham and his family, Genesis 17. The Israelites were Abraham's children through his son, Isaac. When the Israelites had grown large enough to become a nation, God sent Moses to them. When God brought them out of Egypt, He made His special covenant with all Israelites as stated in 1 Kings chapter 8, verses 9 and 21. The 10 Commandments were an important part of this covenant. And the Lord said to Moses, "Write these words, for in accordance with these words, I have made a covenant with you and with Israel." And He wrote on the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 Commandments, as described in Exodus chapter 34, verses 27 to 28. Many people have misunderstood this covenant. They have thought that it was meant for all people, but God Himself spoke of it as the special agreement between Him and the Israelites, as detailed in Exodus chapter 34, verse 27, Leviticus chapter 20, verses 23 to 26, chapter 26, verse 46, and Malachi chapter 4, verse 4. Many have thought that it would go on after Christ, yet even the Old Testament pointed ahead to a great change. The old covenant would be replaced by a new covenant. "Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah, not like the covenant that I made with their fathers on the day when I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, as foretold in Jeremiah chapter 31, verses 31 to 32. Notice that the new covenant would be quite different. It would not be like the covenant that God had made with them when they came from Egypt. Scripture is very clear on this point. The new covenant would not be the old one continued or repeated. The two covenants would be different in important ways. And Hebrews 8 proves that the promise of Jeremiah 31 has come true. It declares that Christ is now the mediator of the new covenant, as stated in Hebrews 8 verse 6. It quotes from Jeremiah 31 and then concludes, in speaking of a new covenant, he makes the first one obsolete. And what is becoming obsolete and growing old is ready to vanish away, as noted in Hebrews 8 verse 13. Obsolete means no longer in use or out of date. We can still learn many important things from the Old Covenant, as we have already done in this course. But the Old Covenant is obsolete in that it does not rule over us as it once ruled over the Israelites. God's people are no longer part of that covenant written on stone tablets at Sinai, as mentioned in 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 6 to 11, and Galatians chapter 4, verses 21 to 31. Many people worry about this change. They ask, if we are not under the 10 Commandments, does that mean we can still commit adultery and murder now? The answer is that God has replaced the law with something far better. Take the question of murder, for example. Jesus, our mediator, teaches us not to murder. But he goes much further. He warns us against anger and calling people bad names, as found in Matthew chapter 5, verses 21 to 22. What keeps us from becoming murderers? Is it old ties to the law of Moses? No, for Romans chapter 7 tells us that we died to that law. Now we do not even want to murder, for we follow Jesus and he trains us how to love. The only command not repeated for Christians was the Sabbath. Indeed, as already noted, no one can force Sabbaths on us today. Therefore, let no one pass judgment on you in questions of food and drink, or with regard to a festival, or a new moon, or a Sabbath. These are a shadow of the things to come, but the substance belongs to Christ. The shadows were important for their purpose, which was to point toward Christ. But that purpose has been served. Christ has come. We now have the reality. Hebrews chapter 8, verse 11 assures that all in the new covenant know the Lord. They all have his laws written on their hearts, as stated in Hebrews chapter 8, verse 10. Which laws? The full will of God now given through Jesus. For Jesus is the mediator of the new covenant, as mentioned in Hebrews chapter 8, verse 6. He is the main way that God speaks to us now, as stated in Hebrews chapter 1, verse 2. He is the prophet like Moses. He is the one of whom God said, "You shall listen to him in whatever he tells you." And it shall be that every soul who does not listen to that prophet shall be destroyed from the people, as recorded in Acts chapter 3, verses 22 to 23. Jesus emphasized that all his teachings and commands should be obeyed, as mentioned in Matthew chapter 7, verses 21 to 23, and chapter 28, verses 18 to 20. Please like and subscribe to help us grow our spiritual channel. Thanks.